a town with one resident and her own bar license. Another that holds a festival for a cryogenically frozen corpse, and one where the ground's been on fire since JFK was president. This is not your grandma's top 10 list. In fact, she'd probably be furious it doesn't include Asheville. Sorry, Brenda. You've heard of charming towns, quaint, picturesque, with overpriced pie and terrible cell service. But what if charm wasn't about flower boxes and fudge shops, but about grit, defiance, or straight up weirdness? Because here's what nobody tells you. The most interesting towns in America are the ones you were never meant to notice. In this countdown, we're taking you to 10 places where charm isn't curated, it's earned, where locals live in one building, or one person, where governments left, but ghosts stuck around. Think you know small towns? Cool. Let's test that confidence. Like this video if your GPS has ever said you are now off the map. Subscribe if you've ever Googled how to disappear without going full Unabomber. Let's break it down.
Number 10. Slab City, California.
There's a town in California with no laws, no rent, no electricity, and no government. Just solar panels, spray paint, and a deep distrust of anything that wears a badge. Welcome to Slab City. The only place in America where the welcome sign might as well say, "Abandon rules, all ye who enter here." Slab City sits in the middle of the Sonoran Desert, just east of the Salton Sea, on what used to be a Marine Corps base. The military left, people moved in. No one asked them to, no one stopped them. Here, people build homes out of school buses and water tanks. There's no address system, no zoning laws, and yet, somehow, there's an open mic night every Saturday. It's like Burning Man got drunk and forgot to leave. You'd expect chaos, but surprisingly, there's structure. There are community rules, kind of. There's a library, an art installation called Salvation Mountain, and a self-policed philosophy that leans more Weird Uncle Wisdom than Mad Max blood cult. Population fluctuates between 150 in summer to 4,000 plus snowbirds in winter. Crime rate, no official police. So it's kind of a Schrodinger's crime situation. Rent, $0. Unless you count the emotional toll of arguing about solar battery theft. Median income, data not available, because the town doesn't technically exist. Cost of living, technically free, unless you want water or shade. Living off-grid sounds romantic until it's 118 degrees and your swamp cooler dies. Medical services, miles away. Cell reception? Ha! And forget Amazon Prime. Your nearest delivery hub is a guy named Carl who sometimes drives into town. But here's the kicker. People choose this. Veterans, artists, retirees, people priced out of society. People who want out. People who fell through or jumped through the cracks. What nobody tells you is Slab City isn't lawless. It just writes its own.
Here's what gets me. We've got cities where you pay $2,400 a month for a micro loft with exposed brick and a fridge the size of a briefcase. Meanwhile, Slab City charges nothing. And your neighbor might be a painter, a poet, or a guy who makes guitars out of propane tanks. Yeah, there's no Starbucks, but there's also no HOA yelling at you for not edging your gravel. And if you think this place is unhinged, wait till we visit the town with exactly one resident. And she's the mayor, bartender, and librarian. Keep watching. We're just getting started. Number 9. Monowi, Nebraska. In Monowi, Nebraska, the mayor never disagrees with the council because she is the council, and the treasurer, and the bartender, and the librarian, and the only voter. Yeah, this entire town is one woman. One single woman. Her name is Elsie Eiler, and she runs Monowi the way some people run Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. Solo, and with absolute authority. Let's be clear, Monowi used to be a normal town. Train depot, church, grocery store, you know, civilization. But as industries collapsed and people moved away, the town unraveled. Elsie stayed. Now she runs the Monowi Tavern, a real bar with a real liquor license that she signs herself. She also files a yearly municipal budget just so the town can legally exist. Some people build Minecraft villages for fun. Elsie's out here mayoring,
in real life. Data snapshot, Monowi, or rather Elsie's stats. Population 1. Crime rate 0%. Unless you count Elsie stealing our hearts. Median rent $0. No landlords when you own the land. Job market 100% employment rate. Again, just Elsie. Local politics fiercely democratic. One voter, 100% turnout. Technically, Monowi has a 100% voting record. No crime, no debt, and full employment. So, basically a utopia, but with Bush Light. Here's what kills me. We've got 300-person city councils that can't get a traffic light installed without 12 lawsuits and a fistfight. Meanwhile, Elsie files federal documents, renews her own bar license, runs a library of 5,000 plus books, and still finds time to serve beer to road-tripping weirdos. I mean, seriously, give her the keys to DC for a week. Let's see what she does. Would you live in a town with no neighbors, literally none? Yes, ultimate peace. No, I need people. Or at least Uber Eats.
Number 8. Centralia, Pennsylvania. Some towns go out quietly. Centralia chose arson and stuck with it for 60 straight years. This is Centralia, Pennsylvania. Population, technically under 5. Temperature, literally depends on the sidewalk. Vibe, like Silent Hill, but the locals are chill. Here's what happened. Back in 1962, the town set fire to an old coal mine to get rid of trash. Classic small town solution, right? But the fire never went out. It slipped underground and just kept going. And it's still burning. Under the streets, under the homes, under everything. It didn't all go wrong at once. First, cracks appeared in the road. Then, toxic gas started seeping through people's basements. Then, one kid literally fell into a smoking sinkhole in his backyard. Fire radius, approximately 400 acres underground and growing. Estimated lifespan of the fire, another 250 years. Crime rate, 0%. Hard to steal when there's no one left. Median home price, $0. Not a joke, the Gov bought them out. Officially decommissioned as a town, 1992. And somehow, 7 people refused to leave. Because of course they did. It's America. You know your real estate market's bad when even lava gets squatters' rights. Okay, imagine trying to live here. Every few months, you smell sulfur. Your lawn might collapse, and tourists show up to take edgy selfies on a highway that leads nowhere. It's like a goth-themed HOA without the meetings, or the houses. Picture stepping outside in the morning. Steam curls out of cracks in the asphalt. There's no traffic, no neighbors, just the hiss of heat and maybe a crow judging you from a stop sign that leads to nothing. Welcome to America's only accidental volcano town. Remember Monowi? At least Elsie's town isn't actively trying to consume her. Also, fun fact, Centralia inspired the horror game Silent Hill. So yeah, when gamers say this place feels cursed, it's because one actually is. And if you think living on top of an actual underground fire is intense, wait till we visit the town that celebrates a frozen corpse like it's a national holiday. Number 6. Nederland, Colorado. In Nederland, Colorado, they throw a full-blown festival for a frozen corpse with coffin races and a parade. Yep, welcome to Frozen Dead Guy Days.
In charge, organizer Amanda McDonald told us.
And welcome to Nederland, where weird isn't a side dish, it's the main event. Nederland sits 17 miles west of Boulder, 8,200 feet above sea level, and at least one reality away from normal. It's the kind of place where you'll find yoga instructors, ski bums, off-grid inventors, and at least 3 people who say money is a construct, but own $2,000 mountain bikes. But the crown jewel of this crunchy meets chaotic paradise? A cryogenically frozen man named Brito Morstall. He's been chilling, literally, in a tough shed, packed in dry ice since the 90s. And instead of ignoring it like sane people would, Nederland embraced it, turned it into a party. Nederland by the numbers. Population, approximately 1,500. Crime rate, low, unless you count illegal mushroom growing. Shh. Median home price, approximately $760,000. Yep. Weird comes at a premium. Cost of living, 22% higher than national average. Elevation, 8,236 feet.
The air is thin. The vibes are not. Imagine living in a town where you're not even the coolest guy, because there's literally a corpse with more followers than you. You know what's fun? A place that has craft kombucha on tap and chainsaws in the same aisle. But try buying lunch here, and suddenly your grilled cheese is $18 because it was infused with local snow melt. At some point, I just want to eat bread and cheese, not make peace with it spiritually first. In Centralia, the ground is on fire. In Nederland, the town parties around a corpse. One's fighting death, the other's branding it. And if you think partying with a popsicle grandpa is strange, the next town rewrote its entire identity from scratch and somehow made tourism an art form. You're gonna want to see this.
Number 7. Cairo, Illinois. In a city built at the confluence of America's two greatest rivers,
Lime just stopped. Welcome to Cairo, Illinois. Pronounced Cairo, not Cairo, unless you want to get clocked with a history book. Once called the Gateway to the South, Cairo was a thriving river port, full of jazz, jobs, and steamboats. Now, it's a ghost town with a zip code. In the early 1900s, Cairo was booming. A strategic river hub, big economy, big rail, big promise. But then, like so many towns built on outdated logistics, it cracked under the weight of, well, everything. Desegregation protests, government neglect, white flight, economic collapse. It all collided, and the result is a city that feels like it was left on pause. Not forgotten, just suspended. Data check. Population 2023, approximately 1,700, down from 15,000 plus in 1920. Unemployment rate 17.8%. Median household income 23,000. Crime rate lower than average, not because it's safe, but because there's not much left to steal. Cost of living 30% below national average. But again, for what? Technically, it's a town, but honestly, Cairo's more like a time capsule with property tax. People love to romanticize small towns. Oh, I could move there, buy a house for $8 and start a coffee shop. Sure, you could, but who's gonna buy your artisanal turmeric latte when the entire commercial strip is boarded up and the high school hasn't had a football team since 2005? Picture walking down a street where every third building still has a faded sign from the 1970s. The Mississippi and Ohio rivers meet in the distance. You hear cicadas, maybe a train in the background, but nothing else. It's quiet, too quiet. A stillness that feels heavy, not peaceful. And yet, somehow, you kind of get why people stay. The bones are still there, the stories too. You know it's bad when the streetlights outnumber the people by a lot, and half of them don't work.
Number 5. Leavenworth, Washington. Leavenworth looks like a Bavarian village had a baby with a Hallmark Christmas movie and then got really into craft beer. You're in Washington state, but the signs are in German. The buildings are Alpine. The locals wear lederhosen unironically, and every street corner smells like bratwurst and capitalism. Back in the 60s, Leavenworth was dying. Timber industry gone. Main Street empty. Vibes economically doomed. So the town did what any reasonable small town would do. They rebranded themselves as Bavaria. No, not like Bavaria. Literally. Architecture, language, signage, festivals. Even the Starbucks is built like a gingerbread house that drinks schnapps. And it worked. Leavenworth now pulls in over 2 million visitors a year. Population, approximately 2,400. Median home price, approximately $780,000. Median rent, approximately $2,100 per month. Unemployment rate, 3.9%. Crime rate, extremely low, unless you count crimes against authentic German cuisine. Leavenworth is the only town where Oktoberfest lasts all year. And so does the markup on hot chocolate. Here's the thing about tourist towns. They never turn off. It's always peak season for something. Fall leaves, Christmas lights, summer hikes, winter snow. You try to grab groceries and suddenly you're dodging couples in matching flannel asking where the reindeer petting zoo is. I just wanted eggs, not an immersive cultural experience. You step outside. Mountain air so clean it feels illegal. The sound of distant yodeling. A horse-drawn carriage, and the click of 1,000 iPhones capturing authentic Europe. Your neighbor waves from his alpine balcony with a beer stein in hand. And somehow, it works. It shouldn't, but it does. In Centralia, people left because the ground was on fire. In Leavenworth, people moved in because of schnitzel and snowmen. Number 4. Whittier, Alaska. Imagine a town where the school, the grocery store, the post office, your neighbor, your boss, your ex, and your therapist all live in the same building. Welcome to Whittier, Alaska. Yeah, Whittier is a real town, and about 85% of its population lives in a single 14-story building called Begich Towers, which sounds like a luxury condo but was originally built for the military during the Cold War. Let's talk logistics. Whittier's only accessible by boat, air, a one-lane tunnel through a mountain that closes at night, which is either a peaceful vibe or the opening to a Netflix thriller. But once you're inside, everything you need is in one building. There's a school, a grocery store, a church, city hall, a police station, laundry, and actual apartments. It's like living inside a high-functioning snow globe. Real numbers. Population approximately 270. Median home price approximately $175,000. Median rent approximately $950 a month. Cost of living 33% above US average. It's Alaska. Bring layers and cash. Crime rate basically zero. You'd have to mug someone in the elevator. It's like The Sims if every sim was your neighbor and nobody could pathfind their way out of the parking garage. Okay, real talk? Sharing one building with an entire town is either genius or a group therapy session waiting to happen. Like, what do you even do if your neighbor's microwave beeps too loud? Move 3 doors down? Switch floors and hope they never find you? Also, and this is real, if you miss the last tunnel out at night, you're stuck. Until morning. Like the world's weirdest snowbound escape room. You wake up, snow hitting the window sideways. You pull on your jacket, take the elevator down to grab coffee, walk 2 doors to your job, and wave to your neighbor in fuzzy moose slippers. Outside, it's minus 10 degrees. Inside, just a bunch of people who kind of know everything about you. And somehow, it works. It feels insulated, not isolating. Like small-town life with Wi-Fi and central heating. Would you live in a town where everyone shares the same building? Yes, efficiency is sexy. No, that's literally my nightmare.
Number 3. White Earth, North Dakota. In most towns, toddlers learn their ABCs. In White Earth, North Dakota, they're learning to resurrect an entire language. This isn't just charming, it's revolutionary. White Earth isn't loud, flashy, or tourist-ready. It's quiet, unassuming, almost too normal. But behind the stillness, a full-blown cultural uprising, run by kids under the age of 6. White Earth is home to members of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa, part of the Ojibwe, or Anishinaabe people. Like many indigenous languages, Ojibwe was nearly erased. Boarding schools, cultural bans, systemic erasure. But here's where it flips. A small immersion preschool started teaching kids Ojibwe first, not as a hobby, not as a class, as their first language. They're building speakers again, from scratch. This isn't nostalgia, it's infrastructure. Reality check. Population, approximately 75 people. Median household income, approximately $33,000. Rent, around $500 per month, if you can even find a listing. Cost of living, below average, but so is access to healthcare. Crime rate, near zero. Because honestly, it's hard to commit a crime when everyone knows your grandma. Okay, let's talk about the weather. You haven't felt cold until your eyelashes freeze mid-blink. Winter lasts 7 months. There's snow, then wind, then horizontal snow. It's like living inside a snow globe that someone's constantly shaking out of spite. You step outside into a world that sounds like silence. Just wind over prairie, big sky, bigger stars. You wave to your neighbor, who waves back in Ojibwe. Inside the language center, kids are singing, counting, building the future, one syllable at a time. It's peaceful. It's powerful. It's exactly the kind of quiet that changes everything. In Miami, people are losing their minds over a new brunch spot. In White Earth, toddlers are bringing back a language that almost died. And if you think raising toddlers to save a culture is impressive, wait till you see the town where a waterfall gets more visitors than the people who live there.
Number 2. Ohiopyle. Ohiopyle, Pennsylvania. Population 37. Number of tourists per year, 500,000. That's not a typo. That's a plot twist. This is a town where the clock stops. The Wi-Fi laughs at you and your car's GPS politely gives up, but somehow you still want to stay. Ohiopyle sits like a secret in the Laurel Highlands. There's one road in, one road out, and zero need to rush either way. It's like the town collectively decided, yeah, we've seen modern life. We're good. Population, approximately 37. Rent, technically possible, but mostly cabins and lodges. Median home price, approximately $180,000, if you can convince someone to sell. Crime rate, so low it feels fake.
Job market, seasonal and rugged. Think park rangers and outfitters, not LinkedIn bros. Ohiopyle isn't a place you move to climb the ladder. It's where you move to throw the ladder in the river and go kayaking instead. You ever see a river that looks like it wants to fight you? That's the Youghiogheny River.
People are also flocking to cool off at places like Ohiopyle State Park with the leafy shade.
People pay money to get thrown out of rafts here. In winter, it's a snow globe. In fall, a live-action Bob Ross episode. Locals joke there are only 2 seasons: tourist traffic and preparation for tourist traffic. Okay, but let's talk food. If you're not a fan of ice cream, pizza, or eating outdoors next to a guy named Creek Dave, you're gonna have a rough time. Don't expect sushi. Don't even think about Thai. The fanciest thing here is a s'more with dark chocolate. Fun fact, Ohiopyle used to be a honeymoon destination in the 1800s. You'd take a train, get dropped off in the woods, and hope for the best. Imagine Tinder, but with bears. Remember back in Monowi when we had one person and no drama? Yeah, this is the opposite. Everyone's here all the time because there's nothing here. Wrap your brain around that. And if you thought Ohiopyle was off the grid, the next place, let's just say the locals don't even want to be found. You're not ready.
Number 1. Picher. Welcome to Picher, Oklahoma, where the American dream bought a pickaxe, went full gremlin mode, and accidentally nuked its own hometown. Seriously, this is a town that doesn't exist anymore. Not like ghost town, aw, how quaint. More like environmental disaster zone meets Fallout DLC. Once upon a time, Picher had everything. A booming mining economy, middle-class homes, baseball, hot dogs, the works. And then they realized the ground, the actual ground, was so poisoned by decades of lead and zinc mining that the town was, medically speaking, uninhabitable. Like, kids were testing off the charts for lead exposure. Buildings were collapsing into sinkholes. The local creek turned toxic. Still charming? We were the top lead producer in the US, one ex-resident said. Then we became the top lead poisoning producer. Let's hit the numbers. The final scoreboard. Population today, 0. Crime rate impressively low when everyone's gone. Rent $0 per month if you enjoy unstable foundations and haunted vibes. Median household income pre-evacuation approximately $30,000. Environmental cleanup cost over $100 million and still not done. You know things are bad when FEMA calls and says, "Yeah, don't fix it. Just leave." Let me get this straight. You blast holes in the earth for 80 years, dump toxic waste all over town, and your solution is to sell off the land and let people move back in? That's not city planning. That's industrial gaslighting. White Earth, North Dakota is bringing back a nearly extinct language. Picher, Oklahoma, it buried itself under 30 million tons of toxic tailings. One revives culture, the other erased itself for ore. If you liked this video, congrats. You just found the weirdest corner of YouTube. Give it a thumbs up before your screen develops lead poisoning, and subscribe because every week we uncover places that should not logically exist, but absolutely do.